This week on LTC News, the city lights up,
How many light bulbs on that?
resources for new immigrants,
to live in the city.
and promoting tourism.
What the CVB does is make sure that when you need something, when you set the table, when you're here in our area and you have a problem, one phone call's made. That's it.
We have an LTC exclusive here with Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Guys, how you doing?
We're doing great. This is a lot of fun.
This is a perfect time of the year for us.
So what is your favorite thing about City of Lights so far?
Oh, meeting all the children, of course. We have so much fun with them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what about their demands? What are you getting the most of right now?
Well, it's a lot of the standard. Legos are always big, American Girl dolls. I have quite a few electronics, a lot of requests for iPhones. Of course, I have to ask the children who's paying for the monthly charges. And they don't seem to understand that, that's part of the problem with the iPhone. But, those are the regulars. We get them all the time.
I'm Al Gentili, and welcome to LTC News. And yes, that was Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, both spotted on the streets of Lowell last weekend. Saturday, November 26th was an exciting day downtown, filled with colorful events. The city, local businesses, and organizations came together to give a boost to the local economy and to kick off the holiday season with the annual City of Lights celebration and parade.
We're here in JFK Plaza, where the safari rides are setting up behind us, and so a part of City of Lights, our annual kickoff celebration for the holidays in the city of Lowell.
Is this the first time that this is taking place?
No, it's almost 30 years taking place now, so it's pretty much close to a 30-year anniversary this year.
So what does the City of Lights Festival mean for the city of Lowell?
I just think it's a great opportunity for us, for the city, to bring the city alive, to bring the holiday spirit alive, and to also, because it's also Small Business Saturday, to really do this around that day to support all the local independent merchants in the city as well.
So it's really important to the local economy and trying to bring vibrancy to the downtown.
I think that's true, and it's also important to the city quality of life. I mean, who doesn't like a good party?
We all do like a good party. The celebration included family events that kept the kids occupied, and early in the afternoon, the Pollard Memorial Library hosted a special shopping day to benefit the friends of the library.
This is our fifth year doing it, and the kids love it, as you can see in the back. It's a community event where we have teenagers from the high school, from National Honor Society, volunteering, being shopping assistants, and looking at items that have been gently donated by the public, who love to do that too. Donating wrapping paper. We have volunteers wrapping the presents. So it's a great event. The kids love it. They come back every year, and it's a good year for it.
Now, the sales for this day, what is it going towards?
So with the Friends of the Library, it's a volunteer organization. It's not affiliated with the library, but we raise funds. So what we raise will go towards museum passes that the library uses to give to patrons so they can go to museums at a discount admission, as well as different programs, because the city, the library is always looking to be funded, and so whatever we can give to help what short funding they might have, they can extend their programming.
Now, obviously, the library gets money from the city, but it seems that volunteer efforts, such as that of which the Friends do, is an important part of it.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have two volunteer organizations, the Friends and the Foundation. And the Friends is a more grassroots, we do the book sale every year. We do this children's shopping event. The Foundation, they're looking to actually build a capital fund so that if they need these beautiful Audubon prints framed, they take care of that. So in conjunction with the Friends, we have also the volunteer organization called the Foundation. And all the funds we can use to give to the library, because the library serves everybody in the city.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for your time. We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
We're here with the Bishop family, and it looks like they have a couple of bags of goodies. Guys, what do you have here today?
We better plug our ears because we're okay.
We bought some stuff for our grandparents and our mom and dad, and I bought some stuff for my sister.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, yeah.
So you did some Christmas shopping?
Yeah.
Well, we can't figure out what exactly you bought 'cause it's a surprise, right?
Right.
Beauty. Well, have you had fun? Like, what is all of this to you?
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, very good. I'm here with Fabian, who's looking around here trying to find some good stuff. Fabian, are you looking for anything specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah? What is it that you're looking for?
Well, stuff for, like, my family.
Really? Are you doing Christmas shopping for your family?
Not really, but I'm walking around looking for dog stuff.
Definitely. Do you live in Lowell, Fabian?
Yeah,
Yeah? Do you come to the library?
sometimes.
Sometimes. Do you like to read?
Yeah, in school.
That's awesome. Well, I hope you find everything that you're looking for.
I think it's adorable how they're able to like pick out their own little gifts, and I just want to be surrounded by that atmosphere.
Definitely. Is this the first time that you guys are volunteering for this?
Yes. Yeah, for this event.
Definitely. Are you guys involved in the library otherwise?
I mean, I've volunteered here a couple of times before, but yeah.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime take a ride on Rudolph. Yes, I'm talking about Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer right here in Lowell.
Please walk, Rudolph. I just mounted Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. We're going around the track at City Hall Plaza. I have the wonderful help of one of the attendees here. What is your name, miss?
Kathy.
Kathy.
Safari Cat.
Safari Cat is helping me out here. This is part of the City of Lights celebrations, and these guys are going to be going on until when, Safari Cat?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, right before the parade, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So why is it that you're here, Safari Cat?
I love these animals, and this is the best thing to do in the world. This is the most fun thing I've ever done.
Uh-oh.
Come on, Rudy. He's got a big trip to make pretty soon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Gonna be going all the little kids, right?
Yeah, you're getting him in shape.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I'm about 120 pounds heavier than what he's used to, but he's doing good.
He's pretty strong. He can carry 2 adults.
Safari Cat, is this the first time you've done this?
No, I did a couple of other events.
Oh, okay. So what is it about this City of Lights festival that means so much to you?
Watching all the children and parents with big smiles on their faces and having a good time.
That's awesome.
And the highlight of the day was the City of Lights parade through downtown.
15th year.
Chelmsford High School band. The best use of theme.
Yes.
Lots of light. How many light bulbs on that? Way to work, Grinch.
LTC has complete coverage of the parade. Check back on our Facebook page for showtimes. There was no city council meeting this week, so Brian Dorrington, LTC Director of Municipal Programming, brings us this report on the ins and outs of the License Commission.
Hello and welcome to the City Council synopsis. There was actually no City Council meeting this week, but unfortunately, in order to keep our news show a full half an hour long, I'm required to waste approximately 3 minutes of your time anyway. I proposed we air SpongeBob dancing to Keyboard Cat for the entire segment. But I was overruled, and it was decided that I will educate you on what the License Commission is and some of what they do. The License Commission is a board composed of 5 members appointed by the city manager. According to the city's website, the License Commission adopts rules and regulations for licenses and license activities that address matters of local interest in compliance with the laws of the Commonwealth. It is the local authority for licenses affecting alcoholic beverages, public amusements, secondhand motor vehicles, entertainment, and common victualers.
Victulars.
Okay, I have no idea how that word is pronounced, and apparently Google doesn't either, because every time I searched for pronunciation, it sounded differently.
Victualler.
Vegetable.
Opossum. Opossum. Opossum.
Anyway, here's how it's spelled, and a common, whatever that word is, means a license to sell food. Basically, if you want to have a special event, play live music, sell food and or alcohol, you have to go before these guys to get approval. I cover a lot of these meetings, and the most common reason for someone to appear in front of the License Commission is to request a one-day liquor license. So I'll try to walk you through that process. First, you're going to have to fill out an application with information about your event. You're also going to need to apply for a special event permit prior to going before the License Commission. All of this should be done at least a month in advance, and please be aware that there is a processing fee of $25. If you do want to serve alcohol at your event, you'll have to pay the city $125 a day for a full liquor license and $75 a day if you just plan on serving beer and wine. A certified art gallery or museum may apply to get a permit at a reduced rate, so long as they only serve wine and or champagne and don't charge any money. The license must be attached to a single person representing the business or organization who is over 21, a U.S. citizen, and of course responsible. That person must be present at the License Commission meeting to obtain their permit. The License Commission can also impose punishment for license holders who violate the rules. Just recently, the License Commission shut down the Mill City Ballroom for 17 days. That was for serving minors alcohol and for failure to maintain order and decorum after a fight took place on the premises. As always, this is just my personal understanding of how things work. If there are any mistakes in anything I said, I apologize. You can send your comments, concerns, and hate mail to mailerdemon at notarealemail@ltc.org. That's all I have for you today. Be swell.
The Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association, or CMAA, plays an important role in integrating new Cambodian immigrants into American life. Their big fundraising event takes place on Saturday, December 3rd. Let's join Sobin Pin at the CMAA office to learn more.
I'm Sobin Pin with the LTC News. I am at the CMAA headquarters to talk with the Executive Director, Savannah Poe, about what CMAA does and the big fundraiser coming up on Saturday, December 3rd.
CMAA, the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association, was started up in 1984. CMAA was actually part of the Indo-Chinese Refugee Center, and the reason why CMAA was created was because there was a huge influx of Cambodian refugees arriving in the late 70s and early 80s, and at that time the Indo-Chinese Refugee Center could not handle the influx of Cambodian refugees, and so CMAA provided services where they helped folks find education, jobs, social security cards, and basically identification to live in the city. And so since then, CMAA has helped thousands and thousands of individuals and family members, many of whom have became executive directors of the Asian American Commission. Many have became executive directors of the CMA today. Many are working in the city, many are working in various nonprofits and local businesses in the area. But because Cambodian Americans are arriving as refugees, many of the survivors came from more of the rural farm areas, and many of the educated folks were killed during the genocide. Many were suffering from lack of education and access to resources. And so we still provide the same resources in terms of getting people licensed, citizenship, English classes and stuff, but we are now expanding and bringing in more of the youth of our community. A lot of young people in our community are very creative, very smart, very kind of like willing to take on different challenges and changes, and how do we integrate them with the first generation. And so this year we actually started a summer camp program where we had about 82 young people that signed up for a 6-week program. And we also just started our after-school program. We have about 15 young people with about 20 people on a waiting list. And we also started a young professionals mentorship program as well. We get a lot of our funding from foundations, and we get state funding for the Department of Developmental Services. We got a lot of funding from our foundations, and we also receive funding from various fundraising activities. So we have two events every year. Our first one is our fashion show, where we invite various community leaders to come in and not only try on Cambodian clothes, but they also are able to try on clothes from different local businesses in the area. So we highlight the downtown businesses as well. And that doesn't raise too much money, but the goal is to get people to really celebrate the beauty of the Cambodian culture and bringing people together. Our largest fundraiser is our gala that's coming up this Saturday, actually. And we're celebrating 32 years of CMAA in Lowell, and we would love to invite people to come. It's it's $50 at the door. It's $45 for pre-sale tickets, but usually we have a 5-course meal. We are giving away 3 community awards to 3 different leaders. We have live music from a local Khmer band, and we also have live traditional music from a young person from Middlesex Community College. And so at the gala, our ultimate goal is to raise $30,000. That's a big number for us, but if we continue to push hard, we may be able to reach that or go a little higher. But if not, we fill in the gaps with other ways of raising funds.
Hi, I'm Deb Belancher, and I'm here today at the beautiful Lowell Memorial Auditorium. What an incredible gem we have here in a historic downtown Lowell. This building has been in existence since 1922, and I'm amazed at the history. In the early days, it was used for conventions, it was used for educational purposes, it was used for religious affairs, civic engagements, and one thing that I find very interesting, it was very popular for bingo. The East End Club used to host bingo every week here, where we would have 4,000 people attending, and the proceeds went to charity. So here today, we're in a new building. Over the last 2 years, we have seen some really great renovations. We received a grant from the Mass Cultural Facilities Fund for $300,000, and the city matched that grant with $300,000. You see the beautiful new drapery, there's new portable chairs. All of the chairs in the balcony have been reupholstered. There's new carpeting in the concourse, and of course, new carpeting in the Hall of Flags. So it's really become an even more important focal point in downtown Lowell. And today I'm here to talk to you and tell you about 2 of the upcoming performances. One that is taking place on December 10th, which is about the famous cartoon characters Max and Ruby, and they're going to be performing the Nutcracker. And the following day, on December 11th, we have the most magnificent Boston Pops. The conductor, Keith Lockhart, will be here to present a number of holiday songs. There will be sing-alongs, and there will also be an appearance by Santa. Go to merrimackvalley.org and check on our Holiday Merriment page. Enjoy the holiday season. Thank you.
In this week's Sunspot, Lowell Sun Enterprise editor Chris Scott talks with State Representative Tom Golden about the important role of tourism in the Valley.
Good evening, everyone. I am Chris Scott, the Enterprise editor at The Sun. Thanks for tuning into this evening's edition of Sunspot. With me, I have Representative Tom Golden. Tom, thanks for coming in today.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
We're not going to be talking about state issues, as his title might indicate. We're going to be talking about the CVB, the Greater Merrimack Valley Convention and Visitors Bureau, because Tom is the chairman of that board. Tom has been on that board for how long now, Tom?
A long time.
A long time. The CVB is going to be undergoing some changes. Deb Belanger, who's been the executive director there for about almost 2 decades,
That's
right?
correct, 17 years.
Announced earlier this month that she is resigning to head over to Megan's house. So, Tom, the state refers to these regional CVBs as RTCs, or Regional Tourism Councils. I think there are 13 or 14 of them across the state.
There's been some increase lately.
Okay. Where there hasn't been an increase, though, is the state contribution to these RTCs. But there's something that the state is not seeing in the regional tourism councils that is forcing it to reduce its contribution. Okay, so What do you say about that? I mean,
when you're talking about 16 regional tourisms, and we bounce between 3 and 4, we're doing pretty darn well. Especially when you're talking about the monsters we're going against. I mean, Boston is a monster in itself. Cape Cod.
Yeah, that's a whole. Boston is an international destination.
But they're number 1.
Yeah.
And then typically it's going to bounce around a little bit. Cape Cod be number 2, for obvious reasons. North of Boston, number 3, and Greater Lowell has gone up to number 4.
But if tourism is the 3rd largest industry in the state of Massachusetts,
and we started a tourism committee, in the State House.
But then why is the state withdrawing its support then if it's so important?
It's kind of like banging your head against the wall. I mean, there are limited dollars, and I think that we do a good job, we do a decent job, but something, we need to concentrate more on tourism. What we're trying to do is, we have done a very good job at trying to bring folks from Canada to Massachusetts. The probability is, here in the city of Lowell at least, when you go into a restaurant and it's jacked and it's jam-packed and it's a odd Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you're wondering who are all these people, the CVB is responsible for anywhere between about 15 to 20 events that happen within the area of Lowell to Lexington, throughout those 21 cities and towns. And there's a great probability that the CVB had something to do with you waiting in line to get your, your dinner.
Just let's stick with Deb just for a second. So in terms of replacing Deb, what's your timetable?
Timetable is going to be sometime in January. Okay. The executive board has gotten together. The board has been discussing this.
Since we spoke on this about a week and a half or so, or I guess before Thanksgiving, has there been any developments or?
No. There is. Like everybody in the world thinks they're looking at it. They're thinking, but we haven't even put out what we want yet. We've charged Deb with looking at what the executive director's job is. The executive committee is then going to take that back, and they're probably going to take out the pen and say, yes, no, interesting, let's go further on this. And then we will put something out that states what we believe the executive director for the CVB should be.
Okay. Besides yourself, who's on the executive committee that will be kind of crafting that job description?
Colleen Cox from Middlesex Community College.
Yep.
Dave
wife
Wallace,
of the former city manager.
That's right.
Yep.
Wife of John.
Yep.
Dave Wallace, who happens to be the president of Lowell 5. And Pete Lally, who used to run Lowell Memorial Auditorium and now runs Spectacle Management.
Right, okay. When do you hope to actually have someone hired?
First quarter.
Okay.
First quarter. We have an unbelievable team, and Deb did an unbelievable job making sure that the people in the office, they know exactly their job. We have a huge event coming up, and that's Winterfest. Right. And I'm very confident that the team that we have, we only have 3 people. We have, it's Deb, a full-time, and a part-timer.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we're going to bring the part-timer up to full-time status, which is another 10 hours. Okay. So we're going to have those 2 full-time women in the office who are just phenomenal people. And I know we're going to go through Winterfest without a hitch.
Is Courtney O'Malley, I think, right, who used to work at the newspaper, did a good job for us. Is she going to kind of be the interim executive director?
We're not going to have the interim. We're just going to utilize the executive board is going to step up, as executive board should, to run the day-to-day operations for the time being. We are not looking to do this. I'm not looking to move over there. Pete, Dave Wallace.
Are you going to resign from this?
No. We offered it to Dave Wallace. He said no.
Let's talk about, we don't have a lot of time, but the 21 cities and towns. One of the sticking points with the CVB over the years has been, Lowell has always made a big contribution to the CVB.
Yes, it has.
Out of the Lowell taxpayers contributing to the CVB. I think Chelmsford made a small contribution over the years. So that's 19.
Now Lexington.
19 cities and towns do not make a contribution.
Well, now Lexington does.
All right.
So we are working on this.
There's a disconnect there. So why does some communities view the CVB as very important and we got to contribute money, even though it's getting less and less every year, and other communities blow it off and say,
well,
screw it.
Let's look at it this way. From the town of Chelmsford, okay? We do an event 2 times a year, and it's a skating event. We fill everything we have in Lowell, which is over here at UML, and then we fill pretty much everything in Chelmsford. So Paul Cohen, who's the the town manager over in Chelmsford, sees the value of the CVB because when those folks are coming from outside the area, they're paying into the hotel. There is a hotel tax in there. Paul Cohen gets that. Every town manager gets that. Tewksbury is one of our other favorite spots. You know, the Tewksbury Holiday Inn. We're still trying to crack that nut.
Yeah, you haven't cracked that nut yet.
No, we haven't. Because sometimes municipal leaders look at this money that is coming back as it's theirs. But really what it's supposed to be doing, this money that's coming back from the tax, from the room tax, is really about making your community a better place. Okay. And then, of course, we represent other towns that don't have a hotel, don't receive any funds, and probably don't really quite see the benefit of the CVB.
Did you say that Lexington and Concord now contribute?
Lexington.
Lexington does.
Yeah, Lexington, Deb's been working extremely hard with those folks to get them to see the value. For a long time, the folks Lexington, Concord, in that area, they kind of identified more with north of Boston. And, you know, we're here. You know, what the CVB does is make sure that when you need something, when you set the table, when you're here in our area and you have a problem, one phone call's made. That's it. Okay. And that person's on call. And that's Courtney O'Malley, who you know. That's Deb Belanger. It's even been me. If there's something that needs to be done, we are going to get these folks with kindness, wrap this thing up, and make sure that they come back. And that's why we're so successful with certain organizations. They can't afford to go to Boston, Chris. Right. That's the truth.
It would seem to me that if the all 21 cities and towns in the district, in the RTC district, viewed the CVB as very important, that they would make a contribution. But yet only several do, including Lowell. You know, you would expect Lowell to do that.
But some of them don't have a hotel.
But Lowell really doesn't either. You say Lowell has the, you know, the Inn & Conference Center.
We have the Inn & Conference Center, and we have the Doubletree over off the, the Courtyard Marriott,
Okay,
but once again, that's something that is filled. When you talk to the folks at Courtyard and we have an event, they're full. They're full. And you know something, what's more important to those folks occasionally is that they even went out and started to have a little store, if you would. You know, you come in late. I need a Coke. I need this. I need that.
Okay.
All those sales.
Let me just try to get one more question in here. We only have a couple minutes left. I know we could. And there will be a story about this in an upcoming edition of The Sun.
I hope
so. Our readers can look forward to that. Tom, you've heard these rumors over the years, as have I, that perhaps it's time for the CVB to be absorbed by the Lowell plan, or perhaps the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce, or perhaps they should all three should merge, and there should be one big, gigantic business development tourism group. What do you think about that?
We always need to look at that. We'd never shut the door on that. But right now, currently, the CVB works in 21 cities and towns. We work with 5 different chambers of commerce. Restaurant Week, is one of those things we work with our partners over at the Lowell, Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. They do a great job. We work with them on that. We do work with folks. I wouldn't shut the door on any of that because somebody could come up with an idea that maybe the executive committee hasn't heard. But I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to be very difficult because our mission is so different. Our, the mission of, say, a chamber, never been on the board, but is to take care of the people in their area. We're trying to bring people in 50 miles out. That's really our job, is to bring somebody in that has to get in here, that wants to stay in here, that wants to see anything from Lowell to Lexington and spend some of that money here. That's our job. And we do that with $315,000 from the state, and we match 2 to 1. We're very close to $1 million organization with matching funds, and I would like to think we do a heck of a lot. I think all the restaurants know that when we're in town, when we're delivering on something, it matters to them because they see it in their receipts, and that's our job.
Now, just wrapping up quickly, last time we talked about this, I called you to ask you, hey, what's this rumor I'm hearing about Corey Belanger? No relation to Deb Belanger, but a big booster of the CVB and a city councilor on top of it, having the inside track to replace her. And what did you tell me that day?
I had spoken to Corey multiple times on a Megan House event, a Megan House problem, and never once did he bring this up to me. There are so many names out there floating around, and when I did finally speak to Corey, he said, absolutely not. Thank you very much. And I probably just outed him on that, but that is a true story. There have been so many different names that are floating out there, that people that want to do this, and we're going to take them all. We're going to look at it because I think it's a very unique position of understanding how to get heads in beds, but at the same time, equally important is figuring out the landscape, knowing who Chris Scott is, knowing who that other guy that you work with, Campanini, is that his name?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
He's a hobo.
But knowing the landscape and knowing how to work within the landscape, but most importantly, getting people into the Merrimack Valley.
All right, Tom, well, I appreciate you meeting with us today.
Not a problem at all.
Thanks for tuning in this evening. Look in an upcoming edition of The Sun for a story about the future of the CVB and how the CVB is going about replacing Deb Belanger as executive director. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Good night.
And that wraps it up for this edition of LTC News. I'm Al Gentili, and be well.
Santa Claus, down Santa Claus way.